Hey, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of the Rise of the Modern Man podcast. I am your host, Jordan Lipsky. And today I kind of want to do something a little bit different. I've talked a lot about this idea of modern man and being a modern man. But what does a modern man really mean? My definition will be completely different than somebody else's. But what I wanted to do today is say, here is what I would think a modern man should be and what a modern man should do. So I tried to write down these rules to say, if you are doing these kind of things, you are a modern man, and this will make you a modern man. And men, a lot of times men won't fail because they're weak. They fail because no one ever really taught them what strength looks like. We'll struggle to hit our goals and really struggle to become the best versions of ourselves. And we don't know how to get ahead. So what ends up happening is we end up living our lives on autopilot. And we'll kind of let the days go by over and over again, not really doing much. And eventually you kind of wither away because you were kind of scared to take that risk and scared to do something that would really get you out of your comfort zone. So going through the list now, number 1, mastering your reactions, not being a slave to your emotions. If every jab is getting a rise out of you, you're not strong. You're going to be predictable. People are always going to be trying to pull something over on you. They're always going to be trying to get a rise out of you. Even as a kid, I used to try to always get my dad say some little comment that'll get him mad because it's fun to get a rise out of people sometimes. But that's not a modern man. A modern man doesn't react to that. A modern man stays calm when most people would snap. And your significant other is going to criticize you. The world's going to judge you. But how will you react to that? Are you going to blame them? It's easy if someone says something about you and someone criticizes you, you could just criticize them back. You can criticize anybody like that, but that's not strength. Or do you just make excuses? You don't take ownership of something? What you need to do is inside, when someone says something about you, you're going to feel emotions bubble up and they're going to want to come out. But what you need to do is you master those emotions inside and don't even let them bubble up. Don't even have a reaction. Someone criticizes you, you just say, okay, thank you. I've had time, my wife criticizes me about little things. It's always going to happen. I just say, okay, thank you for telling me. It doesn't need to be this thing where your wife criticizes you for not doing the dishes and then you criticize her back for leaving her clothes out everywhere. Nobody wins out of that. You're both just going to end up with a bigger fight. So it's really just needing to be able to master that before it comes out. Second thing that a modern man can do is you don't want to numb yourself. This day and age, there's entertainment everywhere. You have endless amounts of porn. You can bet on sports. You can watch any amount of TV you have. You can scroll and the system will keep refreshing and you don't even realize how far you've gone. But doing these types of things, they're not habits. It's an escape hatch that takes you away from what you actually need to do. And in a lot of ways, it's draining your life because it saps up energy that you could be putting towards other things. A lot of times what happens is men will feel bored and they don't know what to do. And they will fall back on whatever's easiest, which is usually grabbing their phone. And they got to try to do something that will entertain themselves. I've had days where I would put my son down for a nap. He ends up sleeping for a half hour. All of a sudden he wakes up. I realize I spent the whole nap time on my phone. I would have loved to have spent that doing something productive, but I ended up just sitting there on my phone and I got lost in a death spiral. And something like gambling, people will make random bets just to feel something. Oh, it's a Tuesday, I'm bored. Someone's gambling on baseball. They don't even like baseball, right? Or you don't know what to do, so you look at porn, right? You're just mindlessly scrolling. And all of these are just distractions that keep you from your goals. These are things that they look exciting compared to doing something hard. Do you really want to work out? Or do you want to go scroll on Instagram for 20 minutes? Nobody actually enjoys the working out. Your body's going to hurt, but what's going to help you in the long run? And doing these types of things is porn, betting, scrolling. None of these help you become your best self. You become worse and you end up falling behind and you don't even realize it until afterwards because you get so sucked into doing it. The third part of being a modern man: be more than just a paycheck. A lot of men think that they just bring home money and that is their sole role because historically we were providers, so we feel like we now need to be providers. And if we're a provider, then we're doing what we need to do. But that's changed now. More women than ever are working. The lines between gender roles are now getting blurred. And it's good because it's not just one way or the other. But if you have a wife and kids, your family doesn't just need a provider who disappears. It can't just be you working late hours every night of the week, babysit your kids for a half hour, an hour before they go to bed, and then when it comes to the weekends, all of a sudden now you're golfing. That doesn't work out. You need to be there with your family. That is being a modern man. A modern man respects his family. A modern man spends time with his family. A lot of men will say that they work these hours for their kids. But if you were to ask their family, would you rather live in a 5,000 square foot house and see your dad an hour a day? Or would you rather live in a medium sized house and you get 3 hours with your dad every day and you get the weekends? What do you think they would choose? They would always choose more time with their dad. Later on in life, when you're sitting there old in a nursing home and you're laying on your deathbed, do you think you're going to sit there and say, oh man, I really loved all those late hours I worked. I really wish I worked more late hours. Or do you think you're going to wish that I really wish I came home earlier and spent more time with my family? Because those are the people at the end of the day are the ones that care about you most. They are the ones who are going to be there with you on your deathbed. The next thing is don't settle for average. Now, I get it. That sounds a little bit silly. What kind of comment is that? Nobody settles for average. But what happens is nobody aims for average, but most people are average. Because being average is easy, and most men just settle there. In the beginning, it's exciting to do something. And eventually you start to get a little bit better, and you finally get good enough to hold your own. But what happens is now you're just going to coast because you created enough skills, and that's great to do. You worked on chess and you spent time to not be a beginner anymore. But then the real work starts happening to go from average to advanced. And most people don't want to do that work. So they end up settling to just be okay. We don't want to put any extra time into it. I'd much rather numb myself. A lot of people are just coasting, and what's happening is they're just decaying because growth is uncomfortable. But do you know what's worse? Regret. Because the worst thing you can do in your life is be mediocre. Mediocre means that you stopped pushing ahead. You lost potential, and now you're average. So the real goal is you need to continue pushing ahead, and you don't want to get stuck in the same spot. The fifth thing is that you want to say something straight and don't flinch. Silence to keep the peace is self-betrayal. What you really want to do is speak your truth, even if it's going to make people squirm. A lot of people now, it's very easy to not have opinions on things. There's a lot going on in the world. A lot of people will hide behind not having an opinion. Or what more people even do, instead of even having an opinion, they'll say their opinions online and will just hide behind some fake account. And they don't want to put themselves out there. They don't want to get ridiculed. It's kind of scary putting yourselves out there. You might get made fun of. But at the same time, that's not being a modern man. A modern man has a spine. They don't care that other people are going to judge them. They don't care that they have opinions. They know that their opinions are based on something. They're not basing it on emotion. They're basing on something they actually believe in. You can't always be worried about hurting someone's feelings. I know it sounds bad. You don't want to have the intention of hurting someone's feelings, but you're going to say something that's going to hurt somebody. And you don't mean to do it, but people are offended by almost anything. So we can't just be scared to just put ourselves out there and not express ourselves. Hey everybody, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate you making it to the end. If you could do me one favor, like, subscribe, even share this with a friend, that would be a huge help. And if you also want to dive deeper into this context, if you want to learn more about men's mental health, I'll link my newsletter below. We dive deeper into those topics every week. Thank you, and I'll speak to you in the next one.